The NBA here, and even though it's a national holiday for many people, we're here doing the work today as best we can, as we always do in the Splash Play channel. We're compare my projections to one industry leaders out there, our friends over at Stokastic. We'll see the top plays are, the top values are, what I think, what they think. Maybe we'll meet somewhere in the middle. Go game by game as well. We'll check ownership along the way. We'll run a sim without my interference on Stokastic. Combining this video, guys, you're gonna all the must plays along with my splash plays for the November 28th NBA slate. Let's get into it. And holy fuck, do I want to motherfuck somebody already. Bro's always late. Come on, man. It's 2 p.m. somewhere. I just did 2 hours of NFL streams. In between, I had to also check in on my child and wife before they leave for the day, help them out with some stuff. And I also had to produce a podcast, upload thumbnail. Like, get the fuck out of it. This is the fastest ban I've ever had for a user. But fuck off. We are all in this together. I apologize that I don't always start at 2 p.m. on the dot, but I do a lot of work to prepare for these streams, and the entitlement for free is fucking unbelievable. Oh my god. I'm gonna be a douchebag to that guy, but unfucking believable. But I appreciate you guys who are here. But like, seriously, fucking understand how the world works a little bit before you leave a chat like that. This is fuck. You're getting this for free. Anyway, we're gonna still do the work as we always do. But man, not the way to start off a stream for me, guys. But hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. That's that. I will ban you too. In fact, 5-minute timeout for you. This is not, don't bring this energy to my channel. I can't be more clear about it. This is my channel. I'm going to run it as I see fit, and coming entitled on a stream where you're not a paying member is fucking batshit behavior. So don't do it. Top protected players for today. Let's do the work. We got Nikola Jokic here. Top projected play, not on the main slate, 13-1 salary. If you're playing the late slate, he looks good. If you are not playing the late slate, he doesn't matter. But Jokic, we got the same situation we're going to have, at least for another week and change. No Aaron Gordon here. Boost the uptick in expected production for Jokic, for Jamal Murray, for whoever else is left, but in particular, those top two. So Nikola Jokic, another good projection. It doesn't matter. Luka Doncic looking pretty good right away as well. 12-2 salary. He is also not on the main slate. 60 fantasy point projection for him, though, a little bit lower than I have for Nikola Jokic. But at this point right now, the best players in the slate, based on my data, not available to us on the DraftKings main slate. But Jokic, Doncic, James Harden, all three looking pretty good at differing levels, all different price points, all different amounts of projection, but all of them look really solid, and I wish they were on the slate. I normally am very happy to get the slates a little bit shortened where we don't have to be swapping all night long, especially when it is, again, mostly a holiday weekend here. I don't want to be up doing NBA swapping late into the night if I don't have to. But when a case where we have no really good top options overall, not having Jokic, not having Luka, not having James Harden on the slate, it does hit. And let's get the trolls. I don't even know if it's trolling. It's just like a little bit of an ingratitude thing. I can't be that entitled for my time when I'm working really hard on my end. A hangover is so bad this morning. It took me 10 minutes to realize there was an NFL stream earlier. There was an NFL stream earlier. Much better now. Yes, that was NFL this morning. And again, it was a lot of NFL. And thank you for this. The best NBA DFS show. I appreciate it. But I gotta be myself, guys. You guys can be yourself as much as you want. Just keep in mind when you're yourself too much. Fucking unfucking believable, man. Like I literally had to go put my kid's shoes on in between shows. That's not fast enough for the guy. Fucking unbelievable. Giannis, 53.6 projection for me, 53.6 for Stokastic. Rarely are we this on the nose together, but 13.5% ownership on this main DraftKings slate. Giannis is your one pay-up option you have that projects pretty well. Of course, Giannis has been banged up lately. I think there is a little bit of a minutes dock in Stokastic's data today because of the fact that he's not not at full health compared to how he's been. But only 31.6 minutes projected for Giannis today. Certainly, if he's feeling well, he can get closer to the mid-30s, but you can't assume that. So for Giannis here at 11.5, not a lot of ownership coming his way. He's not even a 5x value for me. Stokastic is at 13.5. I'm at 14. That feels like enough here. We want to have a shot at the upside, but he's not necessarily the priority play that you would think, given the slate, the fact we have nobody else to pay up for. Tyrese Maxey. We got 44% ownership for the field. I'm at 39. For Maxey, really the big thing is that he's now under 10K. That's great for him. We have no Embiid. We do have Paul George in, but you are still missing enough pieces for Philadelphia with Edgecombe, with Kelly Oubre out, in addition to Embiid. Philadelphia playing Brooklyn as well. A bad defense, giving up 123 points. Our opponent's possessions, one of the worst in basketball. Besides this slate, I think Washington's a little bit lower. But for Philadelphia, really, it's all flows through Maxey. He gains a ton of usage from not having Embiid on the court. Assist upside remains the same for him overall. And really on the slate where Giannis minutes, I think you question a little bit. Motivation, if I would never really question for Giannis, but you certainly could for a guy coming off an injury where the team is maybe moving more towards not competing this year, maybe more towards not having him on the roster if that's what he wants to decide for himself. For Maxey, we know it's full motivation, full go, and he's a little bit cheaper at 9,900. So my projection does favor Giannis by a little, but Tyrese Maxey much higher owned, and that alone does mean that Giannis has some appeal for game theory. The Maxey projects better, much cheaper. The field will be there though at 44% ownership. Jalen Johnson. We got a downgrade to questionable for Kristaps Porzingis. That matters quite a bit for Jalen Johnson. Also matters for Okongwu, who I think is unplayable at his price tag when Porzingis is in. When Porzingis is out, he looks like one of the better plays on the slate normally. For Jalen Johnson, though, at 9,800, not quite as good of a play to me as Tyrese Maxey. Field likes him a lot, though. 32% ownership. I'm at 15. My projection is 1.5 fantasy points lower for Jalen Johnson, though. He's gained a lot overall from having Trae Young off the court. But for Atlanta at this point, they're now priced to have the team at full strength besides Trae Young. You take one of those guys out, like a Porzingis, that matters a lot for everybody else here. So as it is, I think Porzingis to me also looks like an okay play. Alexander Walker looks like an okay play. Jalen Johnson, an okay play. If Porzingis is out, he looks like a great play, is how that should go. Karl-Anthony Towns here, $9,500 salary, has been gaining some upside because of not having OG Anunoby in. I'm at 47.1 fantasy points today. Stokastic has him at 47.8. It's a lot of ownership for Towns, I think, at this point, 9,500. Really, this entire level here, lots of ownership from Maxey, Jalen Johnson, and Towns. So if you're not in that price tier, it does feel like one way to build differently. That said, for Towns, I really have no issue getting to him. My exposure right with the field. Do you think that Brunson is a viable play today as well? I've got him a little bit more than the field. Towns I'm dead even with. But both guys right now, I think for the next top pay up options looking good. Towns has been crushing lately. He does feel a little bit better when you don't have Mitchell Robinson in. We should have him in today, but Mitchell Robinson didn't start last game, so I think that helps a little bit too for Towns. You're getting the full center run, getting the full upside he could have as a rebounder, in addition to being, about a 30% used rate guy, scoring pretty well. Overall, 1.35 fantasy sports minute this year for Towns, so he's been good in every situation. And today he's playing a Milwaukee team that the motivation, I would say, is waning by the day. It seems like having watched these guys play a lot due to Ryan Rollins. But, Turner does the same thing as him. Maybe it makes it hard on him, but probably not. Porzingis downgrade is always ominous. That is true. That is true. I mean, any downgrade at this point, I feel like tend to be closer to guys not playing than playing. But yeah, for Porzingis in particular, I don't know. I think it was a downgrade for illness too. Let me confirm that. I want to talk totally out of my ass. I thought it was a downgrade for illness. You downgrade for illness for Porzingis here, as you can see on the NBA injury report. Never want to see that for him, given his history of having an illness that debilitated him. Long COVID / something similar to that. So we'll see. SGA, also not in the main slate here. Getting Jalen Williams back in, even on limited minutes, is not good for SGA, who already plays limited enough minutes because the Thunder normally are blowing teams out / in competitive game or not competitive enough games, so you get the full run for SGA. But SGA, 10-9 salary, late slate, not really an option to me as a 4.2x value. Jalen Williams coming in as a high usage guy. It's not a good situation for SGA, who's really been rarely hitting his price tag as it is. But now with Jalen Williams in, I mean, I think you'd expect the game to be competitive perhaps for OKC. Oh, no, actually, they're up to 14.5 points. I mean, it's better than some of the 17.5, 18-point spreads that OKC has had lately. 14.5, that could be a blowout as well. SGA, so you got potential of blowout risk here going against Phoenix, who is much less talented. And then you've got Jalen Williams coming in. I think it's not great. If you are playing that late slate, would much rather play Nikola Jokic, Luka Doncic, James Harden, who I have projected all substantially better than SGA. Jamal Murray in that late slate as well, looking pretty good with a 45-point projection, 8,500. DraftKings pricing here. No shoot Jamal Murray again, whatever site you're playing on, really. He and Jokic just gained so much from not having Aaron Gordon in addition to the team being depleted overall with Christian Brown still out, all that stuff. And Jalen Brunson, talked about a little bit here, getting him at 26% fields at 16. Brunson, a good play here. Town's going to be the more popular play, it looks like. But certainly if Brunson hits its upside, maybe it takes away a little bit from that projection. On Towns' end, both guys really gaining because of having no Anunoby out there is the main thing. They're going to be cautious with Jalen Williams. It's a wrist injury, so I don't know that he's definitely not playable, but yeah. I don't know how cautious you're going to be with a wrist injury, personally, but that's another injury that we don't know about. But like usually anything that's not lower body, they should be fully conditioned by the time they get back out there. So I don't really know what caution they would have to have. But yeah, like I probably wouldn't play most guys coming off of a injury in the first game anyway. TJ McConnell, top value play here. A lot of ownership coming in for him. I wasn't sold on him as a value play, but got him in a good amount of lineups last game just because it's sort of the way the slate worked. He and Jamal Shed look very similar to me now. Last game in particular, we had 16 points for TJ McConnell, 11 peripherals. He played 24 minutes in that game. Certainly for McConnell here, we have a Q tag on Andrew Nembhard. If Nembhard is out, it's going to help the minutes a lot for McConnell. But as it is, McConnell and Nembhard have been playing together a little bit more this year because the Pacers just don't have enough bodies, basically. But I think for McConnell, really, 4K salary looks pretty good. The projection of minutes here is not super high, but I saw him for 25.2 fantasy points. Stokastic has him for 27, which feels a little bit aggressive here. But definitely going to be highly owned by the field. They're at 57% in Stokastic ownership. I'm at 43 here. McConnell, a solid value play once again. Jay Huff, your backup center. So last game for Indiana, I'll go back to the popcorn machine we just had open because same team. Jay Huff, no Tony Bradley in the rotation last game. So basically ended up being, you got starter Isaiah Jackson, Jay Huff off the bench. Then you get Jackson again. Jay Huff comes in. Same thing second half. Jackson starts, plays about 4 minutes. They go to Jay Huff. Huff comes out. They go back to Isaiah Jackson. Point being, Jay Huff is incredibly highly owned because they're playing Washington today, but also because Jay Huff is playing reliable minutes. That said, if Jay Huff loses a few minutes, he's going to be one of those guys where Isaiah Jackson might benefit and might break the slate. It's a lot of ownership for Jay Huff, 36% for the field. I'm getting him at 65 right now. But I think being mindful of the fact, as we always are of chalk when it is bench guys, the minutes can flow away from him. He's also coming in a lot of times for Indiana because they're getting their ass kicked. They need 3-point shooting. But if they hang in there versus Washington, if Isaiah Jackson plays well in that first stint, I think you get less Jay Huff, and that really would crush a lot of the field's value right now. There could be better value that opens up. Of course, it is an NBA slate, so it's also the day after Thanksgiving. Like, weird shit can happen with guys getting ruled out. The combination of those two factors. But, I think for how Jay Huff looks right now, he is a well-projected play at about 24 fantasy points. But the fact he's not the starter and the fact you have a guy who plays all the minutes that Jay Huff doesn't play, that gives you leverage against it. So definitely, for me, I'll force in some Isaiah Jackson today, even if I do play more than the field of Jay Huff. And then Tyrese Martin, 52% for the field. I'm getting 40. So for Brooklyn today, you have no Cam Thomas, no Michael Porter Jr. So really, your two high usage guys gone. The biggest usage winner of the team has been historically Noah Clowney. They haven't played a lot of minutes this year with both guys off the court, but I think Clowney gets to about like 29% usage. Everybody else gains a little bit, but nobody looks like super great. But because Tyrese Martin is so cheap, because he's projected to play 24 minutes, $3,600 salary, he does look pretty good. I don't love Tyrese Martin at 52% ownership, but I'm getting 40. It does feel like you should get something from Brooklyn today, just because of the fact that you are missing your two highest usage guys, and Brooklyn is absolutely not priced for that situation. And two, Philadelphia, not a great defense going against them either. So you kind of get it on both sides where you're missing another high usage guy. You're in a situation where, the team they're going against is not particularly great. So that's two things that lead you to getting Brooklyn a lot today. But Tyrese Martin, too cheap as well for the situation. James Harden, we talked about, he's a good value despite being only on the late slate and being $9,500. Igor Dioman will gain some upside as well from not having Michael Porter Jr. in. Dioman, underlying rates without Cam Thomas and without Michael Porter Jr., he doesn't look super great. I really wish that there was like some spike in usage and rebounds and assists for him, because I feel like, based on watching him play, seeing some of the stats so far, he feels like a Josh Giddey type where there should be like triple-double upside at some point in his career, because he rebounds enough. He gains pretty good assists overall, 24% assist rate. Usage is not awesome. His shooting's been really bad at 51% true shooting to start the year. But I think he's a kind of player that I like in fantasy where he does a little bit of everything. At 4,100, though, like, Fields there a lot, and I'm not sure that he's a great play. I'll have him projected for 24 fantasy points today. Stokastic has for 25.6, but certainly Igor Dioman, another guy like Tyrese Martin, gaining because of no nets. The guy in the thumbnail today, Nick Claxton, who has very fun hair in his NBA headshot, by the way. He's got little buns, little tiny buns. I don't know what you call that. But whatever it's called, I think it looks cool in the thumbnail. Nick Claxton, though, seems like your big winner overall because of the fact that $6,500 salary, overall your best producer in terms of rebounding, in terms of usage, assist upside as well for him, even with these guys playing Cam Thomas and Michael Porter Jr. He's at a 23% assist rate, which is actually second highest on the team for the guys that are playing today besides Igor Dioman. So Claxton doing a little bit of everything, does also bring the ball up in these kind of situations more than a big man normally will. And you're not getting a bead too. So really, I think, a nice run out of situation for Nick Claxton. One thing I will say is if you give these guys the small sample size rates for this year without Michael Porter Jr., without Cam Thomas, Claxton doesn't really gain a ton usage wise, but he should. It's just not a big enough sample size, I think. So Claxton at 6,500, he's not as cheap as the other guys like Dioman and Tyrese Martin. If they fail, they could still make a winning lineup. If Claxton fails, he probably would not. But I have him at 37 fantasy points. Stokastic has him at 36. He looks pretty good to me. I'm getting him in 44% of my lineups. Fields at 17, though. And then Drake Powell here, another net who does seem like he can do more when we do take Michael Porter Jr. off the court in particular. Shooting pretty well is Drake Powell, 63% true shooting on the year, so above league average. Not shooting a ton of threes. And really the main thing to take away here is like Dioman, Tyrese Martin, they're coming up top here. Nick Claxton, I feel the most concretely about. Or I don't think he's going to kill you on a slate no matter what, even if he doesn't hit the massive upside. Drake Powell, though, to me, very similar to Martin, very similar to Dioman. Whatever guys I get in my data, I'm going to get. Right now, I'm getting Powell at 24%, Fields at 17. That's cool. I'm a little bit lower on Martin, a little bit lower on, I guess, slightly lower on Dioman, basically flat on that. Much higher on Claxton. This is what I let my data do. This is why you make your own data as opposed to just following market stuff, in my opinion. Is like you just let the data do the work for you, make you more unique for it. I'm willing to take whatever ownership I get in these guys, but the key thing is that you're going to get Nets value pretty much no matter what. And if you don't get Nets value, you should be getting Nick Claxton, I think. Zubac, Nikola Jokic, late slate guys, both project pretty well for me as value options despite being so expensive. Keyshawn George is questionable right now with an illness. If he doesn't play, you'll get another shot at CJ McCollum going absolutely nuts. Put up about 50 real life points last game. Broke the slate for Washington. For Keyshawn George, he is a high usage player, and a key part of what the team does when he is out, guys are going to fill in. And it might not be McCollum again. It might be Bilal Coulibaly who gets going a little bit more. It could be Middleton getting some shots going instead of just assists. But Keyshawn George, if he plays, happy to be above the field on him because he projects about 4 fantasy points higher for me than Stokastic. But if he's not playing, it'll matter for the slate a lot because Sarr will look better. McCollum, Middleton, Coulibaly, Champagny, the entire food chain of Wizards will look better. And Noah Clowney, Fields at 35. I'm at 34. My projection is 0.5 fantasy points higher than Stokastic at 28 for me, them at 27.5. Clowney, I think, is going to be your biggest winner for the team. Even though Claxton to me feels the most steady, there's no world to where Claxton, I think, doesn't give you 33 fantasy points. In my opinion, 35 or so seems more likely. Clowney, though, if he misses his shots, he'll do nothing else out there. That's bad. If he hits his shots, though, he can go for like 40. So I don't want to be under the field on Clowney. I think practically I may get more when it comes down to it. But Clowney in the small sample size this year does seem like the big winner for no MPJ and no Cam Thomas. He takes a lot of the MPJ chucking from 3 that happens. So that's how it goes. Shout out to Tiffany here. Need to put notifications on when I'm on. I appreciate it. Yes, hit the notification bell if you can. And a lot of you guys too, more of you watching the video. Maybe now after I berate people for being shitty to me in the chat about being late. But for you guys that are out there too, a lot of you guys watching, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe here. Get along with the hunt. Of course, we're trying to build this channel up, push this as high as we can go. As I think right now, I would say we're probably the fastest growing NBA channel, at least for NBA DFS. So appreciate all you guys being here. Appreciate all you guys showing love when you are being kind in the chat. But hit that like button, subscribe, goes a long way for me here. Just one dude showing you my gambling ultimately at the end of the day. I'm going to do it in a way that makes me happy. And if you don't make me happy, then unfortunately you can just watch. But hit the like button, subscribe here, do that. Check out Stokastic too, 15% off, link down below. If you want to check it out, promo code SPLASH. Does support the show here. Half the money you pay to them comes back to me. And when you support the show, that goes a long way for me here. That's really the main barrier for entry. And Discord, $5 if you want to join as a supporter. If you want access to the data, the sheets I show you here on screen, you also can get those by joining the Squirt Squad tiers down below. So a lot of you guys been doing that. Check it out here. When you join, you'll see YouTube community posts that tell you right away how to get access to everything, but also you get access to the Discord. So do that. And if you want to see my updates throughout the night, do that on the Discord. That's true. Sometimes you have to be an asshole. That's fair. I just have to really defend my channel from becoming something that gets away from what I want, which is I just want supportive, non-annoying comments. And ultimately, if you got something besides that, you can just watch, keep it to yourself, because I'm working hard, man. There's been a lot of work this year with NBA and NFL. I know it might not seem like it because it's just gambling, but I prep pretty hard for this stuff and it's been a grind. And right now on Black Friday, especially when I'm trying to juggle my family stuff and, doing the work, it is a grind for me. So, don't be a dick. It's really the main thing. Cleveland, 121.5 implied points. Atlanta, 115 implied points on their side. Cleveland here, not really a whole lot to point to. DeAndre Hunter, always a guy I get more on than the field. 30-point projection for me. Stokastic at 28. It's fine. They have Mobley a little bit higher. I have Mobley a little bit lower. Nothing stands out meaningfully, though. Jared Allen back in the lineup today. He's probable, so he should be going. I think that he's an okay play coming back in here, but it's not super exciting for Cleveland, Atlanta. First game on the slate, too, and you might need swappability if guys start to get ruled out. Donovan Mitchell, this kind of spot, putting up a ceiling game when nobody's playing him. So I'll just say it out loud. But really not an exciting team here. Hunter and Allen seem like the only ones that matter at all for me. I just want to get through my shit. That's what it is. But that's basically it too. Atlanta 115 implied points here. Jalen Johnson, chalky. We'll see how that holds up as things move around the slate. If Porzingis is out, though, I think he's worth all the ownership he's getting. If Porzingis is in, I think it's a little bit less compelling. That said, Jalen Johnson for me, I'm at 15% right now, so he is a fade. If Porzingis doesn't play, though, I will get Jalen Johnson, I am sure, with the field, if not more. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, 11% here. Wait, all the games were 7:30 today? Is that true? I did not realize that. Oh, you are right. That is an anomaly. Normally I check this stuff too, and I did not look today. But yeah, good call. Okay. Well, fuck that. All right. Atlanta though, really so no swapping. That's the main thing. Thank you for pointing that out, Steven. That's really helpful. FanDuel, though, obviously you will be swapping, and you probably should be swapping pretty aggressively. It is like a turbo slate. That's right, John. I think for Atlanta, we need Porzingis out as it is right now. Porzingis, I'm getting 11. Alexander Walker, 11. Jalen Johnson, 15. Not a great matchup on paper, but Atlanta can play up to competition sometimes. Atlanta's a really hard to pin down team for me. Like sometimes they look like world beaters, especially without Trae Young, to be honest. And sometimes they just like don't show up. But that Washington game was kind of odd for them. But yeah, I don't know. Milwaukee, 112.5 implied points here. New York, 121 employed on their side. Giannis, I believe, is in, right? No, he's still a Q tag. Giannis still a Q tag, so watch out for that. If you get Giannis out, it's Ryan Rollins again. Ryan Rollins, I know people might there's some guys that get really weird about my Rollins projections being high when Giannis is out, but ultimately he made the winning lineup last slate and he didn't really have a particularly great game. The usage is good. The minutes are really good for Rollins. If you get Giannis out again, Ryan Rollins putting on a show in MSG, would love to see it happen. If Giannis is in, I don't think you play Rollins at all. But Giannis is the play to note here. Not much ownership coming his way at 13.5%. There is that little bit of narrative as well with him supposedly wanting to be traded to the Knicks if he did get traded at all. I would say that for Milwaukee, not a lot to love, but if Giannis is out, they're all going to look playable again. And I guarantee you Ryan Rollins will be in a lot of my lineups again because he just keeps chucking. And so does everybody else there that's left. Like there's a lot of opportunity in that offense when Giannis is not available, even going against the Knicks. New York, 121. And actually, what this total to? 9.5 point dog. This looks like Giannis not playing again, actually. Because Milwaukee a 9.5 point underdog at New York. I knew New York is like pretty good, but I don't think they'd be 9.5 if Giannis were in. So I'd really watch out for that one. If I had to guess, another Ryan Rollins day, and that's always fun for me. New York here, 121 implied. Towns looks good. Brunson looks good to me, getting about 25% of my lines with both those guys. Josh Hart playing starter minutes also looks really good, starting to contribute. He's also shooting a little bit better lately, getting up to above league average shooting at 59% now. Mikal Bridges is the only Nick not coming up for me here. Hard for me to like him when you have the three key guys, or really the two key guys in Towns and Brunson. And his price tag is still pretty high to me. With this much ownership, though, going to Towns, to Brunson, to Hart, that is the kind of slate where Bridges makes more sense. He's not the most exciting play for me. And I think for Bridges, he just doesn't come up projection-wise. So not the kind of thing I would force, but when you see ownership like this, where it's like, okay, our three key rotational pieces are projecting for ownership, and this one guy isn't, it is because he projects lowly. But if he beats that projection out and then squeezes, let's say, assist upside from these guys, rebounding, scoring upside as well, that's where Bridges can maybe win a tournament for somebody and get a lot of leverage on the field. Just kind of general game theory stuff. Nothing specific to Bridges, but it does happen a lot for him. Washington, 116.5 implied. Indiana, 123 implied. Sarr, Keyshawn George looking good for me now. If George is out, Sarr's going to look even better, and I'm already getting 2x the field on Sarr. But they're getting the goated matchup here against Indiana, who sucks, plays with decent enough pace. Washington also sucks defensively, plays with decent enough pace. Unfortunately, frankly, the Indiana side has a harder time making shots than the Washington side. But Middleton here is going to shoot better. McCollum had part of the reason I think he went so hot last game is he was so under his average historical shooting / just league average shooting. He clawed that back a little bit by going for, again, 50 real life points last game. Koulibaly due to shoot better. Middleton due to shoot better. Keyshawn George due to shoot a little bit worse would be my guess. But for Washington, the only big addition we're getting back in, assuming that George misses, would be Bagley. So if George is out, these guys are all in play again. If George is in, I think it's only Sarr and Keyshawn George for me, really. Indiana, I think the biggest thing to note here is that Huff ownership. Jay Huff, well, the McConnell ownership too, but the Jay Huff one really matters a lot. I think that for Jay Huff, it's a lot of ownership for a guy that's playing second, big man off the bench. Again, Tony Bradley out of the rotation. That's great news for Jay Huff. But if Isaiah Jackson just plays well and doesn't lose the minutes, he will be out there and will matter at a $4,100 salary. So if you're not playing Jay Huff and he's power forward center, so it makes it easy to get him in lineups, I think consider Jackson more. But Jay Huff, good value right now, unless something better opens up in the slate at 3,800. And that's why I'm getting so much of him. TJ McConnell, Fields at 57. I'm at 43. He looks good. Yeah, that said, had the nice outlier day. Was a tournament winner last time out. I think hopping off the train, trying Nembhard would not be crazy. If Nembhard gets ruled out, I would absolutely go more crazy on McConnell here because Nembhard is really a big blocker for McConnell getting as many minutes as he can play, basically. But Nembhard, Q-Tag, watch out for that one. Indiana, though, a lot of stuff to like here. Pascal Siakam, 24% ownership for the field. I'm low on that at 15, but he still comes up. Mathurin, 28% for the field. I'm at 9, but again, he still comes up. Nembhard, Jarris Walker, they're playing Washington, guys, so whatever Indiana guys you want to make a case for, you can. The ownership, though, the most going to McConnell and Huff is values. Tyrese Martin or Champagnie or Drake Powell. You just saw my projection. Scroll back. But I think it was Tyrese Martin was the highest. Orlando. Yeah, so no Banchero. Suggs got suspended last game. Would have smashed the slate. Probably would have put up like 50 fantasy points easily in that one, but you got ejected in the second quarter. That didn't help. But Suggs going back to the well again. He's been your biggest winner for Banchero out. But Wagner, Bane also gaining as well. Unfortunately, not much ownership to these guys because they're just not playing as well in the projection data. Desmond Bane due to shoot better. Suggs shooting unsustainably well. 66% true shooting. Bane at 55. Again, league average is 58 and change. So Bane will get better. Suggs will get worse. But Suggs does contribute steals. Great assist man as well. Should maybe not get ejected by Andre Drummond would be helpful. But I think for Orlando here, playing Detroit, tough matchup, but competitive matchup. So really one of the Magic guys being a player you want in tournaments, I think would not be shocking to me. Suggs is definitely my lean here, getting about 2.5x the field. Detroit, 117.5 implied points. Duren coming up a lot for me. 42% ownership in my top 150. Fields at 21. As I've mentioned enough times here, basically per 100 minutes, he and Cade Cunningham scoring roughly the same. And Duren is also adding a ton of rebounds, some block upside, stuff like that. Cade gets more assists, but really these guys, to me, closer in projections than I think they will be for Stokastic, who has a 9-point difference between Cunningham and Duren. I've got them at about 4. Really, it's only Duren for me here. I think Cade's still a little bit too expensive with the lineup getting healthier. Jaden Ivey coming back in doesn't help. Tobias Harris, same thing. Again, this matchup I think should be competitive. It doesn't feel like a high scoring spot, but it's two playoff caliber teams, so that can sometimes lead to more fantasy points than the projections will give you. All right, Chicago 126.5 implied point, big total here going into Charlotte for them. Kobe White got upgraded to probable. I think that Vucevic is still a Q tag. Yeah, Vucevic still questionable. Patrick Williams questionable. Dalen Terry and Isaac Okoro doubtful. Kevin Huerter questionable. So if the Bulls lose a lot of these guys, it could be a concentrated rotation today, which means that everybody's going to look better. But as it is right now, Giddey putting up a ceiling spot against Charlotte, not crazy. The issue is like having White in, I think, makes them both look a little bit worse for it. White's been producing 1.24 fantasy points a minute with big usage and assists. Giddey, big assists, big usage as well at 1.37 fantasy points a minute, rebounds a lot more than Kobe White. But because Kobe White's playing, you kind of need Vucevic to be out to make these prices look a little bit better. As it is right now, I'm getting 2x the field on White. I'm under on Giddey, who's barely getting played, only 8% ownership. But I like these guys a lot if you get Vucevic out. Vucevic to me looks unplayable if he's in, so that doesn't matter. But if he's out, Jalen Smith value again, I would go back to it, especially if he's a starter. Kobe White and Giddey, big playable tournament upside. But there's a world here where you get all those Q tag guys out, and then the Bulls are shorthanded. Maybe not shorthanded, but like 9-man rotation, maybe 10. Um, and that matters a lot because everybody will look good from the Bulls then, and they're playing a team that sucks in Charlotte. Charlotte on their side, I don't think you play much of anybody. Brandon Miller coming back in, hurts Con Knippel. I warned about this last game. Knippel also shot like shit last time out for Charlotte, but really don't think the Rookie of the Year bet's too good for him. And, well, Charlotte might trade guys, so maybe it could pay off, but I thought that was really bad when he became the top odds guy for Rookie of the Year. But Knippel's still playing well. I think he's going to shoot a little bit less good than 63% true shooting if I had to guess. Miller going to shoot better. Bridges going to shoot better. Ball definitely needs to shoot better, but his motivation right now seems to be waning in Charlotte, despite him pushing back on reports that he wants to get traded. It's a good spot against the Bulls. Pace up spot, bad defense. So if something hits here, it wouldn't be a shocker. But I'm really only getting Diabate and Miller. You want to chase Knippel, you can. Bridges, I think, unplayable. LaMelo looks unplayable, but he is so much better than I think his results have been. The minutes not being high for him have also been hurting him, I think, a good amount. Philadelphia, 115 implied points. Brooklyn, 107.5. No Embiid. That helps. Still no Oubre. Still no VJ Edgecombe. Maxey coming up 40% for me. Fields at 44. Certainly these things could move around a little bit if we get something like Giannis being out, those Bulls guys being out. But for right now, I think Maxey will look like a good play no matter what the situation is. Paul George been gunning 1.26 fantasy points a minute to start the year, grabbing a lot of rebounds. Usage at 28%, assists at 25%. And he's shooting pretty poorly. Don't think you can play Paul George with his minutes limit right now, but he's playing well, I think, relatively. Drummond does gain a little bit from Embiid being out. The minutes get more secure for him for sure. That said, you don't really want to be crazy on Drummond today. I'd rather get Nick Claxton on the other side, but I guess there is leverage by playing Drummond for that reason. Justin Edwards gets minutes at this point because of the lack of wings, but not a super fun play with Paul George coming back in. Really think it's mostly Maxey here, but Drummond, tournament option. Grimes, I think, can hit a tournament ceiling if Paul George were to just like not play well today. That's that. If Brandon Miller starts playing as he did, it will bring Knippel down. That's true. And yeah, he hurt his shoulder, I believe, is why he was out for all the whatever weeks he was out. Brooklyn here. A lot of ownership for Brooklyn with their 107.5 implied points. And it makes sense because there's no Michael Porter Jr., no Cam Thomas. You do run the risk here that they are a higher probability of getting blown out. But Philadelphia is not the best and does play down in competition a little bit. So Nick Claxton above the field by a lot, 44% for me, Fields 17. I am surprised that number is that low, but Claxton, I think, not a big rate winner for Porter Jr. and Cam Thomas being out, but more of the numbers should flow his way because it's just like, it has to go somewhere, and Nick Claxton will be touching the ball a lot as a rebounder, as a guy that sometimes brings the ball up, and again, is the team's leading assist guy besides Igor Dioman right now. Noah Clowney's going to shoot a lot more. If I give him too much usage, though, he gets into every lineup. Right now, the field's at 35. I'm at 34. If Clowney doesn't hit his shots, he will fail, I think, because he's adding nothing in peripherals right now. But if he hits his shots, and he will probably get up, if I had to guess, 10 threes today because of Michael Porter Jr. leaving that behind. I think Noah Clowney, a good play at that much ownership, no matter what it holds at. Terrence Mann, I'm at 9%, Fields at 5. Getting whatever net is fine, especially if you're not playing Claxton, Clowney, Tyrese Martin, your chalky nets. Igor Dioman feels to me like a guy who should be a better fantasy producer. He hasn't been yet, but taking Michael Porter Jr. out might matter a lot for that. Dioman, happy to be with the field on him at 24%. Zaire Williams, the one guy I'm low on, he's probably going to get the most three-pointers up, so there is some volatility to his game that could go positively. But Zaire, the minutes at 24, he and Day'Ron Sharpe feel like the two guys you don't really want to get to in this Nets rotation. Tyrese Martin, 3,600. He looks good playing 24 minutes. Drake Powell, 24.9 minutes. He looks good as well. Whoever becomes the starters will become chalkier, and they should be the better plays in your mind. Whoever doesn't start, you want to downgrade a little bit, but there's still going to be live pivots. Brooklyn still has enough bodies to go to as well. Guys like Jalen Wilson, ATN, Liddell. So they're not really shorthanded here. So, if you get 3 or 4 nets, I think that's fine. You get 5 or 6 nets, it's probably pushing a little bit too much. Late games here, which you guys could look at if you are playing on FanDuel. Sacramento, Keegan Murray looks okay. His minutes have been up. Utah, Keontae George, Ace Bailey. Good total for Utah. Really nice totals on both sides here. 2 shitty defenses, so it makes sense. But the offense is expected to be good today for Sacramento and Utah, so maybe some fun tournament options come out of that game. San Antonio. De'Aaron Fox has had big upside lately, but I don't think I'd get there based off projections. Denver, love Jokic, love Murray, love Peyton Watson, which has been the case for every slate lately. Phoenix looks like they're going to get their ass kicked. Devin Booker should get gobbled up fully by OKC today. Dylan Brooks also failed me miserably last game. It was such a bummer. He put up 7 points in 1 minute, and then he just like disappeared for most of the rest of the game. Brutal. OKC on their side, don't think you can play anything with Jalen Williams coming back in. Dallas, you get AD back. Same thing here. Don't think you can play anything with AD coming back in. Lakers, Luka and Reeves have done well for you within the last week. Helped me to a top 10 finish. Think they're still cool. LeBron, I need to juke his rates, but he's a better play than I'm giving him projections right now. But his rates for the year have not been too good, only producing 1.16 fantasy points a minute. Luka's been at 1.7, Reeves at 1.3. It'll flatten out a little bit more, but I don't think LeBron's going to get above 1.2 this year. Just seems like he's happy to defer to the guys, and he should be because they're both better than him right now in terms of getting reliably high efficiency shots. Luka and Reeves, that is. And if you think that sounds crazy, like LeBron league average true shooting, Luka Doncic at 62, Reeves at 65. These guys are playing really well. So, it'll level out a little bit, but maybe not that much. Shout out Tiffany. Tiffany, always really kind contributor here. Glad to see you join the channel here. Make sure to check the community tab, Tiffany, if you want to get into the Discord or see my data sheets. I don't know what tier you joined on, but appreciate your support here. And shout out to all you guys that do join. Join down below and get into the mix. Fiance wants Discord. Oh, there you go. Are we account sharing? For you, Tiffany, I'll allow it, but that's all good. I appreciate you signing up. And the only couple I know that follows DFS, Tiffany and her fiance. So glad to see you guys joining on board here. Let's see what Stokastic has for us next, guys. You've seen what my data looks like. Of course, it will move again if we get some guys out. Really, Chicago, that's a really important spot because you might be down 3 more bodies, and that's a key one. Atlanta, Porzingis, that matters a lot. But there could be shit we're not even foreseeing right now. It's not even on the injury report that can happen. So pay close attention as the day goes on, whether it's my data or Stokastic's data. And I do encourage you guys, like I'm a mom and pop shop, feel free to default to the site that's making people millions of dollars over and over again across NFL, across NBA, winning a lot of tournaments. Stokastic does that for you. So check it out, 15% off, link down below if you want to take that. And half the money you pay to Stokastic comes back to me. So it's a big way able to afford what I'm doing. But please do, check them out. Really, they do good stuff here with the Sims tools, and their users have had a ton of successes here. Like, I love using my own data. I die on the hill of my own data every single night because that's what makes it fun for me. But, for you guys out there, you just want to play closer to the median outcomes, the market data that some people here get really fixated on. Play Stokastic data, and you'll be right with the market every single time. That is a guarantee. In a good way. I found a woman who did DFS. I'd marry her immediately. There you go. I don't know, you want to share your passion to that extent, but it seems like it works well for Tiffany and her fiance. So I'm happy to hear it. I think I would be annoyed if I had to talk DFS with my wife every day. But that's also my relationship with my wife. It's a different thing. We have our own thing. She has Taylor Swift and various other things that annoy me. I have DFS and betting, which are the things that annoy her. And it's a real win-win. But when she has a football question, though, she doesn't know who to ask. Igor Dioman, Quentin Grimes, Drake Powell, your number 1 ROI lineup according to Stokastic. Jay Huff, Nick Claxton, Tyrese Maxey, Pascal Siakam, Alex Sarr. I like the lineup. That's really, I don't have anything special to say about it. Pascal Siakam, definitely going to be low on relative to the field, but it's all legit dudes. You're not playing the chalkiest Nets. You're playing Powell instead of Tyrese Martin. I think that all makes sense to me. I do think Powell visibly feels like, I think he's a gainer for Michael Porter Jr. I think Clowney's going to pick up the most from Porter Jr. And I think the usage supports that. But Powell comes in a lot for Porter Jr. And he has not a similar game, but they do similar things out there. So I feel stronger about Powell than I do about Tyrese Martin, even though the projections I think will put you on Powell less than Martin. If my girls beat me at DFS, I would fucking lose it. That is also fair. But shout out to Parker joining too. Glad to see some of the regulars here getting on board. Get to the Discord, guys. Check out my data if you want. You guys know the deal. TJ McConnell, Quentin Grimes at number 2, Josh Hart, Pascal Siakam again. Porzingis makes this one. Obviously, he's a Q tag, but if he does play, the ownership won't be super high. Andrew Nemhart, Jay Huff, Alex Sarr. So we are getting both Indiana point guards. It does help to know that they are playing some minutes together because that was not always the case historically. But I like that lineup, assuming Porzingis plays, obviously. Number 3, Jalen Suggs, Benedict Mathurin, Brandon Miller makes this one. Jay Huff, Nick Claxton, TJ McConnell. So both of our Indiana Pacer values make it in this one. Siakam makes it as well. Porzingis makes it too. No issue with the lineups here. I think these are totally fine lineups. It's tough because there's no pay up options you're getting to really. But all these guys are good. Getting a little bit less maxi than I would have thought, I guess. Andrew Nemhart, Benedict Mathurin, DeAndre Hunter, Pascal Siakam, Kristaps Porzingis, Igor Dioman, Jay Huff, Alex Sarr at number 4. Good amount of Sar coming up. Sar is always one of my boys. He'll look a lot better if Keyshawn George is out as well. Number 5, Igor Dioman, Benedict Mathurin, Zaire Williams, Jay Huff, Wendell Carter, Tyrese Maxey, Cat makes this one, and Nick Claxton. Wendell Carter, not really on the radar for me. Zaire Williams, I'm definitely low on. And I'm low on Mathurin too, but I get him as a play. Yeah, I like these lineups. I don't disagree with it too much. It is fun to see new people in here, except when they tell me that I'm going to get mad at me for being 3 minutes late. It's just, like, that's why I was 5 minutes late, because I was like, I can't fucking believe this guy. 3 minutes late. But yes, I am glad to see new people in here. I'm glad to see all the new viewers. I appreciate you guys a bunch here. Even though I am your most mercurial DFS personality out there, I hope that's part of the charm. But ultimately, I'm just going to do my shit here. That's what it is. I do appreciate you guys watching live. Whenever people though tell me I curse too much, those are the ones that I like. Like some guys like, you could do without the vulgarity. It's like, I talk like I talk. And I think I literally replied to him like, fuck off. So that will never change for sure. Top ROIs, Kristaps Porzingis. Sure. I like Porzingis here. Against Cleveland, feels like a tough matchup here. Would love to see Porzingis not play today, so we do get Okongwu, do get Jalen Johnson. But, you know, it's a tough matchup. Tristan Vukcevic at number 2. I don't get that at all. The price tier, I guess, is similar to Jay Huff, so maybe he's leverage against it. But, like, Bagley, do they not have Bagley in the date? I think they do. So I don't know what the deal is with that. I don't know why Vukcevic is coming up. You shouldn't play Vukcevic on a slate where Bagley's playing and Sar is playing. I don't think that makes sense, but he's your number 2 ROI guy for Stokastic. Nick Claxton at number 3, slightly negative ROI, but the directional accuracy is what matters here. He is your number 3 ROI player in Stokastic's data set. Igor Dioman at number 4, Jay Huff at number 5, Asar Thompson, Quentin Grimes, Alex Sar not too far behind. I'm glad the kids love the cursing. They got to learn about it somewhere. Well, why not learn from Uncle Spags? I don't know if I want to be Uncle Spags. I'll be Uncle Spags in a good way. I just don't want to be like creepy Uncle Spags. That's what we're trying to avoid. Jay Huff, 66% exposure. Fields at 36. A lot of Jay Huff, but he's power forward center and pretty cheap. Really do think, though, if Isaiah Jackson just plays a little bit better against Washington, Jay Huff will not be out there as much. And I think that's an important thing to note on the slate. I think getting with the field on Jay Huff and getting a little bit of whatever's left behind for Isaiah Jackson instead would be a logical field jumping kind of move. TJ McConnell, great chalk as well, 4K salary as a value option. He'll play his minutes. He'll look a lot better, though, if Nembhard is out, but 56% ownership for the field, 64% in Stokastic's top 150. 2x the field and Igor Dioman here. A little bit surprised to see that. And he does contribute in every category. I don't know that he's the most natural fill-in for Michael Porter Jr. Like a guy like Clowney will, again, take Michael Porter Jr. shots. Drake Powell, I think, will take some Michael Porter Jr. shots, do some rebounding, stuff like that. But Dioman is a guy that, you know, high draft capital, can do a little bit of everything. Hasn't really showed it a bunch, but we have seen him spike fairly recently. So Dioman here, 2x the field's a big stand. Porzingis, you're getting him in half the lineups for Stokastic. Fields at 17. So if he does play, Stokastic data is going to love him. And Tyrese Maxey also in half the lineups. Fields at 44. So not as noteworthy of a stand, but he is still making a lot of lineups right now as your one pay up option that projects pretty well. Highest leverage plays in Stokastic data. We got Porzingis, number 1, 33% more in the field. Not a surprise with what we just saw. Jay Huff, 30% more in the field. Igor Dioman, 27% more in the field. Nick Claxton, they do like enough here. He's got 39% exposure. Fields at 16. I also love Nick Claxton, so I'm glad to see that. 23% more in the field is what Stokastic has given you. And Benedict Mathurin, 13% more in the field. He is in 42% of lineups. The field's at 29. Leverage plays or negative leverage plays. Tyrese Martin, you're fading pretty meaningfully, but still getting him in about a third of lineups. Negative 23% leverage, but you know, the field's playing him maybe too much. I think that is something I would agree with as well. Noah Clowney, getting half the ownership on him. That I don't agree with. Noah Clowney, I think if somebody gets an outlier scoring day on the team, it's going to be Noah Clowney today would be my guess. Nick Claxton can play well with like multi-category contributions. Clowney, though, like can put up 30 real life points. I wouldn't love being half the field on him, but I get it. The price tag at 5,100, you're not getting as big of a value as some other guys. Jarris Walker, negative 10% leverage, 9% exposure, Fields at 18. He does project well for the matchup with Washington at 4,300, but there's a lot of guys in Indiana that project similarly well. And Andre Drummond, negative 8% leverage. You are barely playing him. So is the field at 10% ownership. And Andrew Nembhard, negative 7% leverage. So they're playing more McConnell, less Nembhard. Nembhard a Q tag. I think he's an interesting tournament play with McConnell's ownership if he does play. But if he doesn't play, I mean, McConnell, I think at that point, maybe not a lock button, but pretty close to it. Let's do a single lineup sim here because we're making good time. We'll close out the stream in a nice 50-minute or so clip. Kids curse more than you do. Good. They deserve it. Luka drops an occasional F-bomb, but not too often. I think he knows he's not supposed to do it. But he does occasionally go like, where's he doesn't go, where's the fucking ZD? But that equivalent. That's what he does say. But not super sporadically. And we try, like, I definitely try to watch my cursing with the kids, but like I still talk like I do. I actually don't think I curse that often on stream either. I would guess my curse words per minute are like not even one. I think we're like 0.5 per minute, which is reasonable. I think that's pretty fucking reasonable, you cunts. If I were a British guy, I could get away with saying that. I don't think I could do that as me. All right, point guard. Let's start here. Maybe we won't start point guard, but let's start doing a hand build. All right. I mean, we might as well start at point guard. McConnell. A sim darling. That's that. No, not McCollum. McConnell. CJ McConnell, good value play. Hard to argue at this point. It's a bad fucking chalking again. He doesn't ask those questions, thankfully. He honestly, I need to start like indoctrinating him on Luka more, because obviously Luka Doncic is why he was named Luka. But like I could show him Luka highlights and I think he would get into it. I just need to force feed that a little bit more as opposed to videos about Black Panther. Narwhals too. We watched the video about narwhals lately. Glad we learned about that. Shooting guard for me would be Keyshawn George. Yo, I don't really love shooting guard today. Like, in terms of the main slate guys, not a lot of great shooting guard plays. But for me, I like White and George the most. Stokastic likes Mathurin the most. But I'm going to go Keyshawn George here. He doesn't project as well for Stokastic, but let's start there. Called your fiance a twat waffle this morning. Good to know. I think that's fair. That does feel like more of an insult people use online than say the actual words out loud, but I respect it. Hard not to respect that. Josh Hart was going to be my play at small forward. My highest exposed guy at small forward, it looks like, with 33% exposure there. Highest exposure for the field, too. So Josh Hart will not be a sneaky play, but he looks like a good small forward play. Power forward. Towns, if we want to spend the money. Jay Huff, if we don't. But I'm going to go Towns first. I think I'm going to try to get the theoretical leverage here with Isaiah Jackson. I'm going to fade Jay Huff in this lineup. Go Isaiah Jackson. Jackson is also a 5.5x value, so he might still grade out well here in ROI. Need another guard. I think it's Suggs for me here. And frankly, his price tag would probably be 7K if he played that full game last time out, because he was for sure going to put up 50 in that game. He had like 37 at halftime. So I think Suggs here, a good click at guard. Another forward. Wish Peyton Watson were on this slate. I got Josh Hart in already. I've got like all the forwards that I like in already. This is how Jay Huff just makes a lineup, huh? I'm going to go Noah Clowney here. So we're going Clowney. No, this is too much money to play Claxton, I think. It's 7,200 left. Dyson Daniels, Knipple, Okongwu, Porzingis. You know the sim would love Porzingis. All right, so let's fade. I guess let's fade let's fade Claxton in this one. Do I really want to do that? What does it look like if I put Claxton in? Clax. I've got 5,800 for forward, which is all shitty forwards. All right, well, let's just put the nets together. We'll put Clowney and Claxton in, even though I think Porzingis would help the sim ROI and the projection. The team here that we just hand built, we got McConnell, Keyshawn George, Josh Hart, Karl-Anthony Towns, Isaiah Jackson, Jalen Suggs, Noah Clowney, Nick Claxton. I think it doesn't like George and it doesn't like Clowney that much. Let's upgrade. What am I going to upgrade him to? There's really nothing to upgrade to. Just play Mathurin instead. That might do it. I personally like Keyshawn George more than Mathurin, but I get Mathurin being a sim play more. That was it. Just swapping Keyshawn George with Mathurin. All right, so the final team here, 30% ROI. McConnell, Mathurin, Josh Hart, Karl Anthony Towns, Isaiah Jackson getting leverage on J Huff. Jalen Suggs makes this one. Noah Clowney makes this one. Nick Claxton makes this one. Could have theoretically upgraded a little bit more. What would I play instead of Clowney? Yes, I don't know if any of these guys were an upgrade with Asar Thompson, Kevin Herter, Desunmu, Tobias Harris. Clowney straight up projects better than all of them. That's a good lineup. We could live on that. That's the video, guys. Happy Black Friday. Again, hope you guys did some lovely consumerism. Am I doing Stokastic today? John asks. Yes, I am. Thank you for setting me up for that. I will be on Stokastics live before lock today at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, so tune in there. My pal Greg Ehrenberg, I believe, going to be on that today with me, so come watch. We'll have more nuanced takes, I'm sure, with all the guys getting ruled out, perhaps even live on stream, which will be great fun for me. Show some love if you can, guys. Hit the like button, subscribe. Again, no matter what you want to say about this channel, I show up and do the work as best I can, and I focus on it as hard as I can. So I appreciate your guys' support a bunch. When you are here, getting that I'm working hard on the stuff, and if I'm 3 minutes late, it's likely because it took me 3 minutes more to do the stuff that makes this video valuable to you. So show some love, hit that like button, subscribe. It goes a long way for me here. Just one dude showing you my gambling and being as adversarial as possible along the way. Check out Stokastic too. 15% off with the promo code SPLASH. Link down below. Does support the show. Half the money you pay to them comes to me. But all the monthly packages, cheap stuff, expensive stuff, weekly packages, whatever sport you want as well, it's all 15% off. So click that link. Join them. And of course, join the channel as well. $5 if you just want to be a supporter here and get access to the Discord. If you want my data updating throughout the night, join the Squirt Squad tiers. You get either the matchup sheet or my exportable projections, depending upon which tier you click. But click one of them. Support the show if you can. It'll go a long way. All right, splash plays for the day. McConnell has to be one. I would say, and I probably won't make it a rule, but like J Huff, if not J Huff, play Isaiah Jackson. Like try to capture that center spot going against Washington. I think it's got a shot to hit. Huff's gonna be the chalky one, but I think if Jackson just plays well, he might play like 26 minutes. Huff gets knocked down to 22. I would not play both together, but I think that's one important field jumping potential way to think about things. I think Jalen Suggs a splash play. I think the Nets guys, a lot of them are. Claxton, yes. Martin and Drake Powell getting an equal amount as opposed to heavy Tyrese Martin. I think it'd be the move, but whoever starts the Nets takes shots on that. I like Maxey a good amount. But really, there's a lot of injuries. Keep an eye out for injuries. Chicago is going to matter a lot. If you get Chicago guys out, Giddey's going to come up a bunch. Kobe White will come up a bunch for me. Jalen Smith still live as a top value option as well. The slate feels like it is not even close to done yet. And obviously it never is with NBA, but like right now in particular, it feels like there's a lot of things that could change by the time it gets locked. So keep an eye on it. Keyshawn George being in, it's another one. But if he does play, Keyshawn George, another splash play. But I hope this added some value, guys. Again, I'll be on Stokastic later today at 6:30. Come join me there. If I don't catch you there, have a great day, guys. I will see you guys again soon. Enjoy your weekends. Hope it's a great holiday for you all. And again, videos for me tonight, Stokastic, tomorrow, Stokastic. So you got NBA coming up for me this weekend. So enjoy your days, guys. Good luck and see you soon. Bye-bye.